Hello, Wild Ones. This is Cole Adams, and this week I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the seasonal, like the shifts in creativity and what I'm working on right now. And I wanted to show you a book by Seth Apter. This is Mixed Media Artists. And what I loved was he went around and interviewed a bunch of people on their artistic practice, which is always interesting. And he asked 3 things of everybody. And I thought it'd be fun to answer those 3 things as a kind of addition to the book. So, the first thing he asked every artist was, what was a motto they lived by in their artistic life? And I have a few. My business name is Woohoo Creative, so Woohoo, Loving Out Loud, is one of my missions in life, and that's maybe more of a life mission than a artistic mission, but it always comes into my art as well. And probably my most used one lately is Create with Abandon, and that is on my speaker that I bring to classes, and I just love seeing people think through that and start like embodying that as they go on. Well, I'm supposed to be working with abandon, so it's such a fun way to create. And I actually created a stamp with that. Create with abandon is probably my artistic motto right now. 3 things I'm inspired by. My sketchbooks. I'm always inspired by library books, and right now probably the most inspiring library book I have out is a book on Gustav Klimt. It's a big, monumental book on Klimt, and those are always really cool to see. Really huge up close photography. It must have been such an expensive book to make, but it is just inspiring to be able to check that out and really enjoy close looking at all of his structured patterns. I really am inspired by structured patterns and kind of patterns on top of patterns. I've been really thinking a lot about that in like scale in collage lately. And so Gustav has been very inspiring. And then my third thing I'm inspired by is the question, what if, or the curiosity based exploration. So when I start with a project and then I add what if, or I wonder if I can start from a place of curiosity, it's just huge for my creative engines. And I love to try to start a class that way as well, because that hopefully grows curiosity in the participants as well. And then some four things on my studio table. These are really kind of neat questions and neat things to think about. And I was like, well, gosh, I could, answer a whole bunch of things. But right now, I'm just looking in front of me because my studio table is right in front of me. And probably I'm going to do one cheater one. Because I have this little box, and I call it my box of black and white. And it's all of the black and white implements out of a lot of different mark making boxes. So my black and white woody crayon. I just received a gift of a Holbein artist colored pencil. It's a Japanese pencil that's very soft white and it works amazing. Tweezers, my art graph black, which is like Taylor's chalk, some erasers, a black gelato and a white gelato, and kind of in the same vein, a black tempera, a piece of charcoal, a bunch of black pens, some candle wax, but this is kind of like a chunk of beeswax that I use for marking my paper, but also for marking, like waxing my thread. And then I have a couple of sticks in this box, and these are sticks I like to draw with that I picked up from my wanderings. And there's a pair of tweezers in here too. Oh, and there's a little, I also draw sometimes or scratch in with this little piece of seashell. So that is a box that is always, always on my table, and I love it because it says White on it, and that was my last name. My maiden name had White in it, so I find it's really nice, and it's velvet lined. It was for a it's part of a sewing machine set, and so it's velvet lined, so everything when you pull it in and put it back in is very quiet. And the older I get, the more I want to work really early in the morning when my family's asleep, so it's really nice to have that velvet lined box. The other thing that is always, always, always on my thing is either acrylic matte medium or acrylic gloss medium in a squeeze bottle. It is my absolute favorite way to work. I mark the top. This is gloss medium. I mark it with my company name because a lot of time these go to and from classes, but I've been trying to leave a setup here that I don't touch when I leave for classes so that I don't constantly have to rebuild my studio space. So that is my number 2. You see what I did there with that first one? So much stuff in the first one. And then my number 3 is a gel plate. This one's really clean. I just did a pull off of it and it all came up. And not to use as a gel plate. I don't always keep a gel plate on my table, but I've been using a gel plate as a palette recently, and I love it. And this is a Gel Elf gel plate. I don't really love the texture of it for actually gel printing, so I decided to make this the studio palette all the time. And I use it as my acrylic mixing palette. So I love to pull a print at the very end of the day. I just let it kind of build as I'm working, and then at the end of the day I just either, if it's wet enough, I just roll out some wet all over it, or I add acrylic gel medium and do a pull overnight, and so the next morning I have a little gift I left for myself. And then what else? So that was 3. And 4 is I tend to always have a stack of journals nearby, even if it's not exactly what I'm working on at the time. I actually, my desk is an old school desk. Let me know if you guys want a studio tour. And I love this little, they have 2 little cubbies underneath the desk, and I use it to store my current set of journals. These are the journals that I handmade, and I love them. And I love that they fit perfectly like underneath this area. So I have those 3. I have this mark making one, which I think I made with you guys. I did. This is another thing I taught, and then I brought it here and finished it up on a video. And then this one is my current working journal, and I'm actually doing a class tomorrow at my parents' house. Super exciting, in the garden. Or today, actually, because this comes out on Friday. There's a gel print that actually was a palette clean. I was only using that corn orangey color, and then I did the blue as a over under collage. But this is my current little working signature. I only take a signature out at a time, so I'm not overwhelmed. I tend to work better that way. And I have this one, which is another signature that's fully colored but needs a lot of writing in it. And it has some amazing, fun eco prints. I love that piece. I love this piece too. Yeah. And this is just a gesso, or like my current palette is gouache on my table, so that just catches gouache. I always like to have a surface that if I have too much paint on my brush, it doesn't go into the water. Instead, it goes onto paper. I love extending work in that way. And that's it. That's kind of what I wanted to present today. I think that this is a great book. It's really interesting if you're a reader. It's got a lot of pictures, but I'm finding I'm really liking all of the questions. And he does some polls and stuff in here, like, do you have an updated artist statement? Did you choose art, or did art choose you? Have you ever hired an art mentor? The second half of the book is kind of bigger questions rather than just the 3. So I think I'm gonna go through and really write these down in a journal format and use them as art journal, like journaling prompts, to start my days. The other thing I had pulled out, just in case, a bonus item always on my desk, is some sort of scrap paper with a list on it, and usually with list and paint on it, because I can't seem to keep them separate. So this is my list that I need to bring tomorrow. Plastic covers, I brought those today to my parents. I need to bring a set of scissors for everybody, inks, woodies, water containers, and watercolor that can be watered down. I think I'm gonna put it in a spray bottle. I think that'll be easiest. So yeah, that's my goals for tomorrow and goals for today, and just where I'm headed. I think the evolution of an artist in my mind is the working towards something new and learning towards something new. And something always in my studio is my dog bed, even though it's sad because Took's not in it right now. But she is there often over my shoulder, just having a great time, or by my feet. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of this earth, especially right now. And I just hope that you create with abandon something today or tomorrow or the next day. Just play. Cheers.